Right, so now we've built our model. Let's talk about ways in which we can improve on it, and talk about some common gotchas which come with this kind of model. The most obvious things you can probably see are these white lines which form where we score the paper to make the folds. Now you can either not score the paper, which in my opinion is a bad idea because that can cause weird creases sometimes, or you could just paint over them. Just a drop of paint or ink matching the color of the texture should be fine. In some places, like this point where the roof meets the wall, you might even want to hide that rather than painting it by designing your roof with a little bit of overhang. That also gives you a bit more room to play in, so you avoid having something like this, which happens because I didn't exactly line it up perfectly. One common problem with these buildings, especially when you have triangular sections like this one, is that the sides may bow in sometimes. In this particular case it didn't happen, but sometimes you'll see cases where this corner slopes inwards. See, these corners are supported on every side, but this one is just a strip of paper until you glue the roof on, so it can bend a little. One easy way to sort it out is to glue a supporting strip on the inside. You could even use a cocktail stick or a piece of card will do fine. That way it's already supported before you put the roof on. Obviously you could also add more decorations, literally gluing on plastic parts or cast parts, but that's up to you. That's entirely up to how you want to decorate your models. However, one thing I would always add is base, something made of MDF or harder cardboard, wood if you like, but whatever you prefer. As long as it's a bit stable and gives a bit of grip on the ground. That's especially annoying when you're playing when you accidentally strike a building and it just goes flying off. A larger base will add some weight to it and help it a little. One more thing you should consider, especially if you're living in a place with high humidity, like I do, is sealing your models. Basically a coat of spray varnish, polyurethane will do fine as long as it keeps the water out. Now, as I was saying in a previous video, in the first video of this playlist, I don't think I would really use this for 28mm scale models or higher. Mainly because it's just paper. If you put a heavy model on it and some larger 28mm models are pretty heavy, especially the metal ones or the multi-part ones. We've got giant robots, giant dragons, giants, that kind of thing. If you've got something that is supposed to be load-bearing, it's just going to get crushed. In this case, this is just an obstacle kind of thing. You're not going to put anything on it. But if you had a large flat area, then you're going to guess that someone is going to put something on there. Not good. So what I think I would do in that case instead is either use the template alone without texturing it and then adding stuff on top of it. For example, a combination of polyfiller and glue makes it pretty resistant. I've used that in the past, it works fantastically. And secondly, I'd like to add some textures to it and stuff which I can still use. For example, I could have printed out this roof and then added strips of shingle on top. Simulate shingle with cardboard and paint and so on, but you get the idea. One thing that this would be useful for is for shapes that have a bit of a bend to them. Like for example, I have a problem with conical sections because I always find it difficult to calculate how much to put exactly and where to get the exact tilt and so on. In this case I can just design them, print them out and then add stuff on top. Of course, if you prefer to use XPS foam like Jerry Mabley from Papercraft, I love the stuff that guy does. If you wanted to go that way and just make foam buildings, you could still find this useful by printing out the templates. So then you could use the paper as a guide for the foam cutter, and you can get exactly the sizes and shapes you need. And again, of course, you can stick other stuff on top, paint it, what have you. So once again, I hope you found these videos useful or interesting. And if you have any suggestions or comments or ideas to improve on this, please let me know. I really appreciate your comments. If you also drop a like, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you would like to see more content, please subscribe to my channel. Once again, thank you very much.